Hey kids, it's Englatine here, and I'm going to talk at you about one of the most well-known facts about comic books today, and that is that Marvel Comics suck. Mainly due to titles like America here, or basically any of the legacy characters from the All New, All Different, that just ended up being all political, all Mary Sue, and all bad. Not the characters themselves, but the writing that surrounds those characters, most certainly. However, there is a bright spot. There is perfume on the pig that is Marvel Comics, so to speak. Don't get me wrong, there is not a lot of them. And that occurred to me as my brother and I were separating who was going to review what, and we realized that we ran out of things we really wanted to review really quickly. But we did. We found at least 10 that we thought were pretty good titles. So, without further ado, let's present to you top 10 reasons Marvel Comics doesn't suck. Number 10, Dr. Oprah. So this story takes place between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. And it is basically what I always thought that a young Han Solo book would have to be about. She's very much in that same vein. Comes from the Darth Vader miniseries, and it's just a lot of fun. I mean, you basically are watching a whole bunch of morally ambiguous characters do whatever they can to survive. Right now, she's part of the Screaming Citadel storyline, and that is just, in my opinion, it's been a lot of fun, where she is trying to hawk off Luke Skywalker to a queen that collects, basically she's a collector. She collects rare treasures and people. And like I said, it's a lot of fun. It's drawn well. It's got a great tone to it. All in all, for the money, it's a good buy. While a lot of the Star Wars books are worth it, Dr. Oprah so far is the best. Number 9. Thanos is a rare breed in the fact that it stars a villain that is a villain. I mean, a lot of them try to hero them up, give them a bad guy to fight, somebody worse than them. But there's nobody worse than Thanos. So they allow him to be who he is. He is dying, and he gets captured at some point in this issue, as a matter of fact. And it is just a lot of fun to watch. And they let you get to know all the other, well, what they are called, Eternals or something like that. Anyway, you get to know his family, basically, as well. And it's a really good look into who Thanos is without trying to make you sympathize with him. You still root for him, there's no sympathy for him because he is still the villain. And that is what a great balance. I mean, it really is a juggling act to pull this off. And I just love the book so far. It's really good. Number 8. Weapon X, and I was surprised at this. I mean, I thought maybe there might be something to it. Old Man Logan's a good title, so, you know, you hope. But this actually turned out to be an exciting and well-written story. Now, it is kind of an action tale rather than like any kind of deep psychological thing. However, the action tale has worked, and it's been a really good B-movie style story so far. What with so far they're working on these killer cyborg mutant, what are they? Sentinels. Thank you. Jeez, I hate it when the language goes out of my head. And it's been a lot. I keep saying this. It's been a lot of fun. I need to come up with something. It's been entertaining. It is an enjoyable book. It's well drawn, and so far it's well written. Please keep it up because I can see this falling off the list so quickly if it's done poorly. But for right now, it's hitting every mark, and that's important. Number 7. Daredevil's become interesting again, kids, and I do believe that Netflix had something to do with it. It seems like he's back down to being the street-level hero that he's supposed to be. Gone are the days of demonic possession. I mean, of course, they're dealing with the fact that his identity went public and bringing him back to being a private identity, and that's good because then we can actually get stories of Matt Murdock and not just Daredevil. If you make a person's identity public, then they're always the superhero because everybody would recognize them as such. And that's one thing that they've been changing. And it's done without devil deal making or anything stupid like that. And once again, it's really good to see him as a street level hero again. Just check it out. Very good stories. Number 6. Kingpin. Now, Kingpin started during the Running with the Devil phase, where they had 3 titles, Kingpin, Elektra, and Bullseye, come out at the same time. Elektra and Bullseye are okay. Bullseye's good, Elektra's meh. And Kingpin stood out. I mean, just heads and shoulders above the rest from issue number 1. And the story is basically Kingpin hires this lady to write an autobiography, or a biography, excuse me, and he wants her to be completely honest. So he comes across, tells her the story, and she starts to realize that while he's being honest about a lot, he's also hiding a lot, and in some cases he's even trying to influence her and in some ways protect her by using his criminal means. And this makes her nervous and wonder, as she gets deeper and deeper into the Marvel Universe underworld. It's a very well written, very well drawn story. It's intriguing. Check this thing out. Number 5, The Punisher. Now, I've got to admit, I was not the one that was reviewing The Punisher for too much of our Marvel vs. DC book things. And it is so much fun. There it is, I use that term again. But that's what you want comics to be, right? And in this case, I don't know how much I should say it's fun, because the last issue, when he was on a mountain fighting this other guy, it was just literally 2 guys brutally hacking at each other with knives over and over, and it was bloody. It was just a really gruesome issue. But it was good. The action was intense, the writing was well done, the art was good. Look at these covers. Look at that cover. That's such a great cover. And that's what makes it. It's not even a B-level action film type. It's A-list. Seriously. One of my favorite titles, obviously, because it made it to number 5. But definitely something that makes it so Marvel doesn't completely suck. Number 4. Old Man Logan. Now, I want Wolverine back. Seriously. And I don't mean X-23. And I'm not going to call her all-new Wolverine every time I talk about her. And she's not Wolverine. Logan's Wolverine. I'm not a big fan of how Marvel is busting up their brands for one thing. However, come on. Old Man Logan is such a great story. Talk about intense. Talk about emotional, too. I mean, there are just scenes in Old Man Logan where it just hits you right where it hurts. In this last storyline where they had Diablo pushing him through time just hit the nostalgia factor as well. And all in all, it comes down to 2 things as far as all of these are concerned. It's writing and art. And they have it in spades in Old Man Logan. And look at the cover. This is just an example of how great the covers are for Old Man Logan. Honestly, it definitely deserves its position in the top 10. Number 3. Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. I am such a hypocrite because 2 of the biggest complaints I have is, 1, they ruin their brands by giving us too many of a certain character, and 2, I like side characters to be side characters. They don't have to be superpowered people running around with their own adventures. Just let them be supporting characters. And yet here I have a book that's Amazing Spider-Man and his family all have powers. Of course, Mary Jane gets hers from a suit, but still, it's just a ton of, I'm saying again, ton of fun. And what's really good about it is, like the Superman titles over at DC, you really get a familial feel and you want to care for these characters. And that means you want to care for whatever adventure they go through, and that's what makes a great comic book. Number 2. All new Wolverine, and yeah, I know what I said just a couple of numbers ago with Old Man Logan, but let me clear this up. Although I would prefer to call her X-23 and not Wolverine, that doesn't mean this is not a great book. I mean, this has got some great writing, great art as well. The last story, I think it's still going on, is where an alien comes down, says her name, and then everybody around her dies because they get infected. This has been an intense story. And it's like that almost every storyline they go through. It's just intense. I mean, you feel it. The action has purpose. And that is very important. You know, I mean, we could have a book where they're just fighting. Youngblood used to do that all the time, and it meant nothing. But this, the action has purpose. The dialogue has purpose. Seriously, one of the 2 best books that Marvel is producing now is All New Wolverine. Check it out. Marvel Comics does have a bad habit of keeping poor comics around because they have a political agenda they agree with. But what they also have a bad habit of doing is killing good comics before their time. So before revealing number one, let's see some titles that you should pick up the trade paperbacks because they would have been on this list had they still been running today. Moon Knight, a psychological story of a hero coming to grips with his multiple personality disorder. Mosaic is Marvel's introduction of a brand new Inhuman character that just was good but failed. And Fool Killer, a funny story about a psychiatrist who relapses into being a villain killer. And the number one book that Marvel is producing, in my more than humble opinion, is Iron Fist. Yes, in my opinion, Iron Fist is the best book that's being produced by Marvel right now. And my brother Chef Jack took it from me for the Marvel vs. DC reviews. No! And, well, you know, I'm going to be reading it anyway. In these books, Danny Rand is representing Kunlun in a battle of warriors. You got all these different sects, and they are basically, what it's doing is every time he defeats a warrior, he gets this chi, and he goes off to the next one to see who has the best warrior. I keep saying warrior, but it's intense. It's, well, I keep saying well written, well drawn, and most important, it does not talk down to its audience. It expects you to go along with them, and it's never so far ahead that it seems leading, and it's never so far behind that you're waiting for them to pick up. It is just a great book. So there you go, kids. Top 10 reasons I believe Marvel doesn't completely suck. And I know they put out some bad books, and they're going to cancel most of these anyway because they're past issue 6. But what did you think? Did you like the list or did you hate it? Are there books on it that you think I was crazy to put on the list? Or are there some books that I forgot to put on? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, please click like, click share, because Lord knows I need the help getting word out about these videos. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't done that already. Just also hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. And thank you very, very much for watching.